Welcome back. We're back for another drive to the gym. Just in case you're wondering why it's so dark, typically these episodes are going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 a.m. for the most part, maybe sometimes a little bit later. So because we're not worried about production value and all that jazz, we're just keeping it nice and raw. I'm not really going to worry about the lighting. So what's on the mind today on the way to the gym? By the way, first let me say I'm on my way to the gym, not specifically to train. I'm actually on my way to train others. I am primarily an online personal trainer, fitness coach, fitness advisor, fitness consultant, all those hats that I wear. And also I do still work with people in person. And the gym that I train at, I do train a group of people in a group class setting once a week, just one day per week, and I train 2 different class sessions. So I'm on my way to do that right now. Possibly will get my work in, my cardio in, I should say, right afterwards. However, what's on the mind today is when you get injuries, when you get sick, when you get sidelined, or more specifically when you get injuries, especially as someone who has been training for a while. Although I'm not going through this myself currently, I have gone through this in the past with some nagging injuries here and there last year and into this year. I've been working through a shoulder impingement, which is about 95% better than it ever has been, and still there are times where that issue will pop up if I'm not staying on top of maintenance, not also watching exactly how much pressing I do as opposed to pulling and all that stuff. However, main thing I wanted to talk about was when you have injuries that occur, and I've gotten this from clients too, it can be really easy to think to yourself like, man, this shouldn't have happened to me because I train pretty consistently. I pretty much stay on top of doing my mobility work. I, stretch or whatever the case may be. I stay hydrated. I'm not going crazy with a ton of choices, food choices that aren't considered somewhat nutritious and nutrient dense and all that stuff. It can just be so easy to think to yourself, well, what's the point of doing all this stuff if all that's going to happen is I'm going to get the same injuries as folks who aren't doing these particular things? Like, what's all my hard work for and all that, just that train of thought. I want to acknowledge, one, that if you are feeling like that, it's completely normal. There can be a separate episode that we can do here about, like, is that okay, or if that's the norm, what's going on. But that's not the vibe for today. For today, I just want to, one, validate that, yeah, that is a very valid, normal, regular feeling amongst folks who have been training for years, decades, and beyond. It's not uncommon for those things to happen. And the thing that I will try to impress upon people is, yeah, it sucks that this particular injury happened. It sucks that you were sick for a period of time and all that stuff. However, I don't know anyone that guaranteed that just because you were exercising consistently, you would never face physical challenges. Nobody that I know has wisely guaranteed anyone that when you stay consistent with your exercise, you'll never have to deal with these setbacks. And I think what comes to mind as I'm wrapping up here and getting closer to the gym is the setbacks don't have to be something that completely sidelines you and then completely takes you out of the fitness game. One of the reasons that I still train as consistently as I do is because I expect that there will be times that injuries will happen. I expect that there will be times that I'm going to get sick. I expect that there are going to be things that are going to not go according to plan. And also, I fully believe that the consistency that I've built and others build when it comes to the foundational habits, eat well, exercise regularly, and sleep enough, when you've built consistency with those things, then you build a level of resilience. And my friend Mike, I think he calls it bounce back ability. You build I truly believe that your recovery process is fortified. It's much stronger. It's much more seamless because you've spent so much time being consistent. So it's kind of like when you get, if you say you get like a power bill for your home that tends to be a little bit higher than what it normally is, and you've got to dig into your savings, your cash reserves, whatever it might be, in order to front that for a little bit. That's what those reserves are for. They're there for when you need something to kind of help you get through. So pulling up to the gym and gonna bring this to a close. And that's what I wanted to leave you with today is when the stuff happens, it's not a sign that you did something wrong or that the work that you've been putting in isn't worth it. To me, it's part of the journey. As my grandfather used to say, like, that's all in it, son. That's all in it. And yeah, that's what I got for you today. All right, we're at the gym, so we're going to call it. We'll talk to you next time.